It has reached a point in the WNBA where it almost feels impossible for anyone involved in the league not to dislike Caitlin Clark. 1 minute, players were laughing, practicing, bonding like sisters, and, the very next moment, everything collapsed. The news hit like a bomb. Caitlin Clark was suspended. Before anyone could even process it, 2 more names dropped. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull packed up and walked out. They were done with the fever, done with the league. The trio was over. But the real reason behind it was something no one saw coming. That all started early one quiet morning in Indianapolis. One single email landed: Caitlin Clark suspended for 1 game. No context, no explanation, no warning. Coaches were confused. Players froze. Fans went silent. And Sophie Cunningham reacted instantly. She slammed her locker and whispered, "If she's gone, I'm gone." Lexi heard her, stepped forward, and said the same thing without thinking. Standing next to Caitlin Clark had changed their careers. People saw it clearly. Being around her brought attention they'd never had before. It wasn't that Caitlin dimmed them, she made them shine brighter. Sophie was the perfect example. Last year she looked exactly the same, but nobody cared. This year, standing beside Caitlin, she ended up on Good Morning America, landed Arby's deals, and suddenly became a trending name. Their bond had grown quietly but deeply. It started with quick jokes during warm-ups, Lexi bringing snacks for the plane, Sophie defending Caitlin during a tough practice. Then came the golf trips, the viral photos, the late nights talking about fame, pressure, and criticism. They became a family. So when Caitlin was suspended, it didn't feel like a punishment, it felt like an attack. And families don't let each other stand alone. Inside the Fever organization, panic erupted instantly. If Caitlin leaves, the franchise collapses financially. If Sophie leaves, they lose a leader and a top shooter. If Lexi leaves, they lose the heart of the team chemistry. These 3 weren't just players. They were the culture of the Fever. Losing them meant total disaster. Phones rang nonstop. Emergency meetings started. Coaches begged for answers. Meanwhile, Caitlin talked about the shoes Nelly Korda had designed, how cool they were, and how much work Nelly had put into them. Their friendship had grown through golf and shared experiences. But none of that mattered now. The 3 Fever players had already made up their minds. It became a scene fans would never forget. Sophie quietly zipped her bag. Lexi folded Caitlin's hoodie. Caitlin stared down at her shoes with tears she tried to hide. There was no yelling, just heartbreak. If they suspend you, they suspend us too, Sophie said. We're not letting you walk out alone. Lexi added, you don't have to do this. Caitlin whispered. Sophie shook her head. We already decided. Lexi managed a small smile. We leave together. The silence in the room was overwhelming. Minutes later, the news exploded across the sports world. 3 major players walking away at once. Commentators panicked, live on air. Fans flooded social media with shock and anger. What's happening? Is the WNBA done? This can't be real. The league rushed to push statements, call agents, and do damage control. But nothing could stop the storm. 3 players leaving together wasn't drama. It was a rebellion. And then came the twist. Project Beyond, emerging powerful new league offering, massive salaries, and total freedom. No salary caps. No complicated politics. No messy suspensions. Just basketball. Rumors spread that Project B made one giant offer. We'll take all 3 of you together. Sophie's eyes narrowed. Lexi froze. Caitlin whispered, together. The reply, yes, together. The offer was tempting, almost too perfect for 3 players who refused to abandon one another. Fans weren't calm. They were furious. They demanded answers. Why suspend Caitlin? Why push Sophie and Lexi away? Crowds gathered outside the arena chanting, bring them back. Fix this now. We want our 3. Inside, the Fever front office realized this wasn't about basketball. It was about emotion. This was the collapse of their entire foundation. A breakdown analysis made one thing clear. Caitlin is the franchise. She's the leader, the engine, the sun, everything orbits. Losing her meant losing everything. And losing Sophie and Lexi meant losing the soul of the team around her. In a quiet room, the trio sat together holding hands, eyes red. I don't want to leave. Caitlin whispered, we can't stay if they treat us like this, Sophie said. Then we decide together. Lexi replied. All 3 nodded. They walked down the tunnel, Sophie on the left, Lexi on the right, Caitlin in the center. Fans screamed. Reporters ran. Cameras flashed. But they didn't stop or look back. They stepped into uncertainty. But they stepped into it as one. 3 stars. 1 bond, 1 exit. Leaving the WNBA in total chaos. The story is fiction, a dramatic what-if, showing how deep loyalty can run, how powerful chemistry can be, and how emotional a team's bond can grow. Later, Caitlin reflected on her experience, still shocked by everything happening around her. She tried to soak it in, but even she couldn't process it all. After a long pause at her tee shot on hole 10, she finally felt a moment of relief, just a moment to breathe from the storm around her.